Namaskar, welcome to Inside Tonight with Ashok, Vyas. And as we enter every day to a new day by offering our salutations to Sun God, we have our prayers for well-being of one and all. And what is happening in India is a cause of concern, not only if you are in India, but wherever you are, and especially if you love India, then you want to have a responsible response to the challenge in the form of second wave of COVID-19. And I'm fortunate that panel today that we have is very, very special panel, and I'll have all of them greet you right away. And I express my gratefulness for you all, and I begin by mentioning the gentleman who is seen towards the bottom corner is someone who is on the top of understanding of life in several ways. And Ishan Shivananda ji is not just a Shiva yogi, he is coach for mindfulness, and is inspiring several organizations that are helping people live with harmony and happiness with good health. And what he is doing and thinking about India, we'll learn from him down the line. And near him is Dr. Raj Bhayani. He is president of FIPA. And above, two gentlemen related to each other in several ways in terms of their profession as well as their compassion. And Dr. Raj Shah ji, namaste. And with you, we have your uncle, Dr. Bindu ji. And both of you are associated with Wheels Global Foundation, and there are several plus that you are extending for our community. So I thank you both as well as Rajji and Ishanji. And I want to begin with you, Ishanji. When we face any adversities in our life, sometimes we are taken aback. How are we going to face it? And when the challenge is so huge, many times people feel that it is so big, even if I do something, it won't matter because it won't be enough for the need which is ever growing, it appears. So your response to people who look at India, feel the pain, and then they feel they are helpless, they can't do anything.
So I believe that every single Indian that's not in India right now feels for the country. And not just India, I think it's the collective human suffering that the world is going through right now. And a person has this great anxiety and hopelessness if he feels he's alone. But through all these wonderful people that I am glad to share the panel with, they have created this sense of community which shows that nobody is alone right now. My great guru, the lineage that I come from, one of the gurus is Baba Gorakhnath, and he says we should be like the cloud. And if you look at the cloud is picking up the water from one place, and then it is giving it to another place where there is need for water, where there's a drought. And I believe that right now we all need this mentality where we can bring these resources, and it could be resources in terms of knowledge, it could be hope, it could be peace, or it could just be an aspect of community. And I believe that a majority of the population that I'm dealing with right now really, really wants to help. They may not know how, but at least there's a desire to help. And I believe all of us should take that desire and give it direction. Because if humanity can come together, there is a lot that can be accomplished.
Absolutely. And how humanity can come together also depends on collectively how we make use of our respective resources. And from that point of view, while government has its role clearly defined and working towards achieving the goal, private organizations, not-for-profit organizations, and individuals who feel that they want to contribute, they lack direction. But fortunately, in USA, we have come across many organizations and individuals who are actively defining their role as well as working towards making a difference. And from that point of view, if I request Dr. Bindu ji to share where you felt this overlap with your Wheel Global Foundation as well as Shiva Yoga and Government of India and the need, the synergy?
From my perspective, as Ishanji said, the needs are universal, what is happening right now. And under the leadership of Dr. Raj Shah, who is a chairman for Wills Global Foundation, and Dr. Raj Bhayani, who is a president of FIPA, and I being involved with organized medicine, we felt this is a time to have professional medical organization work with the technology aspect, which is Wills Foundation, and the great addition of spirituality. I think it will have people start feeling better. There's a lot of people who have agreed to start donation, but we also need distribution system where I believe that connection by all these three leaders are going to make a lot of difference. My personal experience with Civiog has been there everywhere in India at the ground level, as Wheels has TMOs in every town, and as Dr. Raj Bhayani will be mentioning soon, they have a lot of NGOs who are at ground level. So I think our collectiveness is paying it off to benefit the citizens of India which are affected at this particular moment.
Right. So getting to more details with the help of Dr. Raj Bhayani, Rajji, as layman, is aware that there is shortage of oxygen concentrate, and that has resulted into painful loss in several hospitals in many states. Now you are working towards addressing this need. Where are you in terms of the goal that you set for yourself with the help of other organizations, and what gives you a sense of additional hope at this point?
So, as my esteemed panelist, Ishan Bhai, Bindu Bhai, and Raj Bhai, I'm very honored that I have wonderful partners in this abhiyan which we have started. As we all see, the world is going through the existential crisis, and India is actually at crossroads, and our heart is very troubled, and we are very worried what is happening in India. So as soon as we realized that, we all came together as one team with several other associations and decided that whatever we can do from here, we have to do it. And that is the only way we can make some difference. And with that inspiration from every one of the panelists and other, we reached out to several associations. We have partnership with APQLI, the Greater Washington API, the association from Tampa. There are such 25 organizations came together, and we have a collective leadership here. This credit is not going to one person, it's a collective leadership, collective credit, collective work, and collective dedication, which is very important.
Yeah, Raji, sorry to interrupt. If you fill in some statistics in terms of the number of oxygen concentrate that you
Yes.
could send, yeah.
Yes, so far about 1,500 concentrators have reached in India. Half of them are in Delhi, some of them in Ahmedabad, and very happy to say Ishan Bhai has also partnered with us. He has sent 300 to Bombay, and there are another same number is on the way. Today, some of the shipment went out, and day after tomorrow, remaining shipment is going out. We initially had a big group where we had a charter plane which was supposed to leave last weekend, but now what has happened, that plane is delayed. So we are requesting everybody collectively, please take, if you can reach out their own and then take it out. So other, like IIT Delhi was partner with us, now they're shipping their own. There was 1,000 of concentrators of Seva was supposed to be part of us, now they will ship their own. So what is more important is this shipment has to reach there quickly rather than waiting here and sitting at the airport. So
Wonderful.
I would say by in midweek, we should have 3,000 concentrators collectively from our group, and the remaining ones which are going independently, which are part of us, will be also reaching probably by end of this coming week.
I appreciate that. Really, thank you for your commitment to serve. And as I have the pleasure of the presence of Dr. Raj Shah ji with us, Allow me to recollect, Dr. Raj, there has been cases where some people found themselves in a miserable state because of some additional injection, and I remember a very important journalist from India, Rohit Sardana, he was under care, and then they had some additional injection which in normal circumstances would have served him well, but it did not. So you being associate professor with clinical medicine and cardiologist, do you think there is lack of awareness somewhere also along with the other problems that we are facing, and what briefly you can say to face COVID-19 like situation, how a patient or anything that comes to your mind which would prevent some such mishaps?
Let's just talk about prevention. Prevention is the responsibility of patient and take appropriate measure so that they don't get sick. Let me say, so if they go to the simple advice, put your mask on, keep social distancing, wash your hands frequently, this goes a long way to prevent. And you don't know when you are exposed. To protect yourself, vaccine. Of course, when we are struck with COVID virus, this is the first time in known history where we are afflicted with this illness. There is no precedent. There is no known treatment for it. There is no known vaccine. So prevention is first. Vaccine is second, but as you know, it took a relatively short time, but it still took almost a year to get that and putting it in patient's arm to protect them. Third thing that we really need is once they have mild symptoms, how we can quickly identify and take care of them before it gets worse with the early intervention. So testing, again, testing wasn't known before. Now we have tests, we can do it. But again, it takes sometimes 2 to 3 days. Sometimes people don't have the testing kits available. That takes time.
Absolutely.
Then being aware of the treatment. Now, as I said, treatment was not known except in last year when we started learning which is effective. So the knowledge to doctors, knowledge to the people who are at the front line, availability of the treatment and supply, all this play a major role. And this is even in spite of everything that we have, even the best of the places of the big cities, they have problem. Think about rural India. 600 million people, twice the population of America, lives in villages where they have literally nothing. Hospitals, facilities, testing, nothing.
So,
Also,
Raj, yeah, allow me to interrupt you, and
Sure.
yeah, if you want to conclude with something, I wanted to go with what you said to Ishanji, real quick. Yeah, if there is anything else that you quickly want to add.
on my so all the organization can come together. Each one has a different role to play.
Absolutely.
Each one some have funding, some have knowledge, some have ability to send supplies, some have ability to work with the ground level
Absolutely.
workers.
Yeah, Raji,
some have
I hear
ability
you.
to-
I hear you. Yeah. So I think what you have said brings to our attention understanding of strength as well as understanding of weakness, and then working together. And
Yes.
as I am privileged and honored to have the presence of Ishan Shivananda, who is also known as youth icon, and he has energized people so much that they came out of his sessions uplifted. And Ishanji, as I recollect with you, we have the tradition that Lord Krishna gave philosophy of life to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So even while we are facing these challenges, the basic understanding, the core key message, which is a part of Indian spirit, is relevant, I feel. And how do you look at invoking that Indian spirit to face these challenge and don't feel a sense of hopelessness as well as keep on repeating a sense of negative narration. So overall, Indian spirit for surviving at a fast pace.
Yes, sir. So, one thing we have to understand that the only drawback here is India is vast. So, we have a crisis of numbers. There is overwhelming statistics that every single person has to face. And because of this, one thing that comes inside the sons and daughters of India is that whenever a crisis happens, we don't wait for help. Everybody tries to help in their own manner. I think this is the greatest teaching of the Indian culture. Because if I take our example, so Shivyog wanted to help. We wanted to help. So how can we help? And I was extremely fortunate at that time to connect with Dr. Raj Bhayani because he gave me the direction. He guided that this is the way, and he shared the resources that he had at that time. So everybody was helping, and these are the gentlemen I have never seen personally. So through Bindu, I was able to meet and I was able to connect with FIPA. I was able to connect with the Wills Foundation, Dr. Shah, and we were able to come together. Now, what you have to understand is the most important and the most Indian thing, not waiting for help, but trying to create help. Because, it said, God help those who want to help themselves. And this, I think, one of the greatest factors in our culture. It teaches us resilience, as you rightfully said, knowledge on the battlefield. Because a lot of people will be stuck with the adrenaline responses, fight, flight, freeze. A lot of people right now may be saying, the system has collapsed, or there are people who are not helping, and they should. But these people that I'm working with, I love their mentality because they are saying, forget analyzing the problem right now. Right now, be like Lord Ram. You are building the bridge as you walk on it. You understand? We will have plenty of time to analyze the crisis after it has passed. We will have plenty of time to see where it could have been better. But right now, everybody's objective should be in helping in the best possible manner. And I think this is what, because I have lived in many countries, I've tried to help a lot of people, and I've seen the working of a lot of populations around the world. But this, I think, is uniquely Indian. That help thy neighbor, help in whichever way possible, help with whichever resource is at hand. And I think this is something we must applaud. And this is my message to all your viewers as well, because you are a great voice to the Indian community. And my request is that, right now there are people, my esteemed panelists, which are trying to help. So let us get together and help. We will do analysis later, because where I come from, in my ashram, we are taught, let us use our energies in creation. Complaint comes later. Complaint is something that is a philosophy of the time of peace, because then you say it, you lie down, and then you realize that what things can be better. But right now, I feel everybody should just support, give strength, and be one. And I think this is the greatest lesson we should learn, appreciate. And I think everywhere right now, there is a Arjuna being guided by the Krishna within the heart.
Very well said, Ishanji. I appreciate that. And while we listen to these words, there is a sense of positive thought process which starts getting activated within us. And when you look with what I can do and stop looking for places where you have complaints, that puts you in a different sort of mindset. And Dr. Raj, I must compliment you for being able to discern through the maze of potential obstacles and find a way to proceed, as well as connect with others on this flow. So, if you kindly share with us what helps you in going beyond the complaint chaotic narration which we have through social media as well as through some news outlets, and many times people feel a sense of stagnation in their mind. They stop thinking. So they feel so much that they fail to do anything. So talk to me, what helps you?
Well,
As Ishan Bhai said, the this there is a sense of desperation and sense of hopelessness clouding over our brothers and sisters in India, and it is the hope which is being given by when healthcare workers, physicians are treating them, first responders, and people like this team which is doing from here. So this is what we need. See, the biggest problem in life or this crisis is it feels like there is a darkness around us, and as darkness, the biggest fear is not that there is a darkness around. The fear is the light will never come. And when these people, gentlemen who are here, they are sending some help, it gives there is a hope, and there is some help is on the way, and that will keep our people going. And that is what I keep hearing from our friends in India. When they get a message that concentrators are coming from USA, they feel there is some help is on the way, and that desperation goes down, and that makes people feel uplifted. And that is what we need to give now.
Absolutely. And Dr. Binduji, if I seek your input on sustaining this sense of positive outlook and optimism, somewhere I think you have been benefited by being a part of Shiva Yoga and other meditation practices. The place where we are collectively, there are multiple doors of many problems. Some which we see right now, some we are going to face as this starts winding up. When I say some, that will be financial problems, there will be mental problems also. There are families who have been through so much that young doctors who have seen so many deaths and a sense of helplessness. So, allow me to seek your input on the need to focus on mental health. Do you see that also as a need which needs to be addressed parallel to addressing the COVID-19 challenge? Because there are a lot of people in bad depressive state.
I think this is very important thing. What we have noticed last 1 year in USA, there is a 41% increase in the incidence of depression and behavioral healthcare issue. That is where our spirituality comes handy. As you have heard from Ishanji, that along with allopathy, you need your own healing power, and you have to learn to invoke your own dormant energy, which comes with meditation, with pranayam, and science of unconditional love, which we physicians are taught to share this wisdom with people who are affected and who are healthy. So I think this is where Wheels is playing a major role through their digital technology. Ishan Bhaiya is playing through Shivyo Play, and FIPA is playing through connecting 80,000 plus Indian descent doctors in this country. And American Medical Association is trying to spread the wings with WHO to all the people are affected to experience optimal health, which is not just disease, which is disturbance in ease, but it is also to feel healthy, which is optimal health is not just physical health alone. It is your mental health, spiritual health, societal health, family health, and nation health. Absolutely. So I do believe this is collective wisdom is going to play a role with combining spirituality and allopathy.
Absolutely. So as I appreciate what I heard from you, I also feel it is relevant for us to look at the way our mindset is developed. Some part of it, of course, through the kind of conversation that we have among our friends, with family members. Some part of it comes from the way media offers the narrative or selective pictures that become a part of our day-to-day experience. And from that point of view, just as an onlooker from a distance, Dr. Raj, while India is facing second wave of COVID-19, what way, Raj Shah ji,
Okay.
so what way would you expect the media to play its responsible role? What you have seen and what you would have liked to see?
The media can play a very, very important role. I know you have to report the news, you have to report what is happening, give us the dose of reality. But at the same time, it will be very useful to also show the other aspects where people are standing together, everybody in the world coming together to help as best as they can, right from the village first line to the government at the highest level in many countries. So when you spread a message of hope and that help is coming, that would have a tremendous positive impact on health. Remember, mind over matter. Our psyche has a tremendous influence on our body, even scientifically proven that if you are in a positive mood, yes, I can do it. It increases your immunity and helps you to fight against any disease much better than if you are despair and say, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Absolutely. I really appreciate Dr. Raj. That is very, very important insight. And as we conclude our conversation with thanks to all of you, I want to have, if Ishanji is with us, this is very important for us to learn the lessons that this COVID-19, whether it was first phase or second phase, has unfolded for us. So you process briefly about some important lessons that we should learn from this massive calamity. Ishanji.
I think this is a very humbling lesson that we all need to learn. And the humbling lesson is that we are all human beings. We may have great cultures, we may have great education, and we may have resources. But in the end, we are fragile. And because we are fragile, we must take care of ourselves, our environment, and the society in which we live. No matter what scenarios or political turmoils that may be happening or presented to us in the form of media, we have to understand that under the blue sky, we are one community and a very fragile community. I think the last 2 years, this is what has been shown to us. Also, what has been shown to us is who are the real heroes of this community. I believe right now the generation is obsessed with superheroes. If you look at Hollywood, that is what we see. Every single day, all the youth are fantasizing about aliens and mythic characters. And I believe our society is too much indulging in fantasy of social media and storytelling, whereas we should be concerned about the fragility of the reality. And in reality, the heroes are our healthcare workers. The heroes are, even I would say, the media, because they present the story and they help us in prevention. Because if we don't know, how can we prevent? And at the same time, the hero of every single household is you and me. You know, we the people who are trying to give direction to our family, because I myself am a father and I am a son, and just trying to put the family together when there is chaos all around, that means a lot. And I think this is what we should focus upon. It is high time that we recalibrate our priorities, and in the end just understand we are fragile, the time on this planet is limited, and we should be focused on creating quality in our life, may it be through mental efforts, physical efforts, or just ask ourselves this question, that am I polluting the world with negative thoughts and actions, or am I helping the world heal through my positive actions? And if every single person can just help heal the world in even 1% or 2% of the way, then we're leaving behind the world 1 or 2% better than how we got it. And in the future generations, maybe through the hope and grace of God and the hard work of all these lovely physicians, maybe the future generation will not see this pandemic. But if we do not learn this lesson of our fragility, then history is doomed to repeat itself. And I hope and pray this never happens, because just like humanity evolves, so too these negativities that we were not even considering for the last 100 years. I think the last pandemic was in 1912, the Spanish flu, of such a vast scale, and we forgot about it. We forget, imagine this, sir, we forget that there are negative energies in the shadows that are so much more bigger than the small petty differences that we feel lie among each other. And I feel this is what should be our next objective, because yes, right now, myself, Dr. Raj Bhayani, Dr. Shah, and Dr. Bindu Bhai can help give this temporary breath. But the breath of life comes from our character. And I feel that is the next development that we should start working upon from today.
Beautiful, very well put, and I think that is the essence of responsible response to COVID-19 as summed up by Ishan ji, who is also lovingly addressed as Ishan Bhaiya. So I thank Ishan Bhaiya, I thank Dr. Raj Bhayani, Dr. Raj Shah and Dr. Bindu for joining us. And this was really insightful and inspiring conversation. So once again, I appreciate the contribution as well as inspiring sharing by all of you. And I thank all our viewers for being a part of this conversation.